say that more.
You've been here 2 hours, Carolyn.
Oh,
goodness.
Sorry. Oh, somebody should have called. I'm not gonna sit down because then I have to get up again.
I'd like to call the Monday, February 9th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Roll call, please, Gina.
Rocco Gonzalez.
Here.
Mark Kleesner.
Here.
Mark Piontek.
Here.
Mayor Hagedorn.
Here.
John Borgman.
Here.
Chuck Watson.
Here.
Chad Briggs.
Here.
Kellen Witt.
Here.
Mike Wood. Ken Shear.
Here.
Aaron Beckman.
Here.
Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I trust everyone's had the opportunity to read through the minutes from our January 12th meeting. I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next on the agenda, file number 26-0201, preliminary plat, Heidman Industrial Park, Plat 14, amendment to redevelop plan, Patke Properties.
Good evening. Oh, you want to go first?
Good evening, Commissioners. Aaron
State
Griesheimer,
thank you.
803 Wilshire Drive, Economic Development Director for the City of Washington. So what you have in front of you is the preliminary plat for the Heidman Industrial Park, Plat 14. So Mr. John Patke approached 353 and wanted to purchase the 2.5 acre lot that is adjacent to his current piece of property out in the Heidman Industrial Park. The 353 agreed under certain preliminary reasons, and they put forth some stipulations in the purchase agreement. Mr. Patke was agreeable to those terms and has since signed the purchase agreement, and so we're just hoping to get approval tonight so we can take this to the council and finish the deal.
Yeah, so essentially this lot here, this Plat 14, this lot has always been a detention easement for the Heidman Industrial Park. And we have this parcel, or let's see, you can't see that. This parcel right here has a warehouse on it now, and Patke is in process of purchasing this lot for potential future expansion. I believe Charles said, do you know what he's? Let's see, it's on my staff report. Future parking lot expansion is what he would like to do at some point. But as this whole lot is a stormwater detention easement currently, that would require approval from our engineering department. So as it currently stands, this lot cannot be built on without approval from our engineering department. It had never been formally platted before, so that's why we're coming before you to get this formally platted so the 353 Redevelopment Commission can sell the land to Mr. Patke. Any questions?
Okay. Any commissioners?
So
Go ahead.
currently, there's a stormwater retention on the back part or the middle part of that.
The entire lot
Yeah,
is
pretty-
stormwater retention
correct.
easement.
But currently, it has, like, for runoff from the lot, because it's like, they've got the silt fences all around.
They've got silt fences out there, I guess, now, as they're building what Patke's
There's a
been
raised
building.
level and then a lower center section with a pipe going out, like it's a detention area and stuff like that. And looking at just what I could see from survey markers and the stakes, it's like that is protruding onto that area already.
Well,
Have you done some work on that?
all I
or-
could say is that what 353 discussed, because they never marketed this piece of property for sale anyway. They were approached by Mr. Patke because he wanted to go ahead. The thing that I think the redevelopment corporation wanted to get across to Mr. Patke, and this has been going on for probably a year or better, would be is that any improvements that are done to this lot, as Aaron said, are going to be subject to the engineering department, and he's gonna have to go ahead and keep the same amount of stormwater retention he had before, if not more, for that lot. So if he can redesign something just to go ahead and make that more, to go ahead and do it for, like Aaron said, for a parking lot or something, or storage area, flat storage area, he can do that, but it's gonna be subject to the stormwater regulations. And Charles, we don't have a plan yet for how he wants to go ahead and do any improvements on this lot.
And that's the purpose of this plat, is to have all of what Darren just said in, on paper, so we can enforce
Well,
that in the future.
I understand that, but just today when I was out there, I went out there and looked at it. It looks like he's already built a certain amount of detention area for the current building that's there that comes out. And like I say, just looking at the survey markers there,
Sure, that may be. I'm not
okay.
aware of
Anyway.
that.
And I will tell you, everything that was built within Hydeman, the stormwater retention was taken into account. That was developed as part of the park. So that's already built in. And with this, that part of that design was leaving this lot as a drainage easement. So if they want to alter that, that's what they're going to have to go back and check. But they're not subject to, none of the lot owners within Hydeman are subject to providing on-site detention based upon the fact that it was already incorporated within the park.
Right, but that was my next question. Is it is it just drainage area through there, or is it actual detention?
It's just drainage.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
It's just drainage.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, if I don't have any. If no other questions, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the Plat 14 of the Hydeman Industrial Park. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And then there'll be some documents to sign, I guess.
Oh, yes, and then we also need to approve the recommendation, or we need to,
The amendment to the redevelopment.
yes,
plan.
thank you. We need to approve the amendment to the development plan for 353 to actually sell this lot to Mr. Packey.
So that's two separate things.
Correct, and that's a public hearing as well.
Okay, I was not aware of that. So I would entertain a motion then to approve the amendment that's in your packet also.
Or we have to open it up to public hearing
Oh,
first.
sorry. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this?
There you go.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment then.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the amendment to the development plan for the acquisition of an industrial park commonly known as the Elmer C. Hydeman Industrial Park. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, anything else on that one? Okay. Moving ahead, next item on the agenda is file number 26-0202, preliminary plat, Stonebridge Plat 7.
Yes, so this is a preliminary plat that came before council a few months ago, and the plat that you see here, this is what they're applying to do today. This was, well, I guess, yeah, so a couple months ago, Vic came to the council and asked for a boundary adjustment to turn part of Stonebridge Phase 3, these two lots, which is what we're currently approving today, into one lot, because he had a home buyer who wanted to build a large home over two lots, but that deal has since fallen through, so he wants to turn it back into two lots for two homes, completely identical to his overall plan for Stonebridge Phase 3, as you can kind of see in this overall map. So just reverting this lot back to the way it was. So, any questions?
Any questions from commissioners? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the preliminary plat for Stonebridge Plat 7. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 5, file number 26-0203, preliminary plat, Applewood Plat 2.
Sorry. I guess just look on the TV for this one. Our TV down here stopped working. But, so this is the preliminary plat for Applewood Plat 2, the condo association for the duplexes on Apple Blossom Lane have come, and they are requesting they aren't requesting for us to dissolve their condo association, but they are dissolving their condo association and turning their duplexes into single-family attached homes. So this is kind of, the conversation that we've been having for a couple of months about the changes to our R2 zoning district. And this plat that we have before the commission tonight is not compliant with our current zoning regulations. A lot of these lots are much too small, 5,000 feet, 5,100 feet. They do not meet the minimum width of the R2 district. And obviously, they are zero lot line, which we do not currently allow in the R2 zoning district. So I'm recommending, I'm later in the meeting, I'm going to talk about those changes to the R2 district and hopefully get a recommendation from this body to move that forward. But I would recommend conditional approval of the plat based on the code changes that we discuss later tonight. Another thing to make you aware of is we're not entirely sure of where the sewer lies on this property, so we've recommended to put some language into the final plat, just saying, hey, if the sewer lateral only goes to one lot, that there can be access for maintenance and that sort of thing. So, any questions? Oh, I guess one more thing. If we did not go down this route of approving the R2 code changes or some form of the R2 code changes, this applicant would have to rezone this whole condominium complex to R1C and apply for a variance. So just a couple more steps of bureaucracy if we did not approve the changes. So, any questions?
Yeah, what kind of variance would you apply for? What, for the whole area?
Yes, since it's one plat, you would apply just one variance for the whole plat, and that would be lot size, setbacks, the use itself, because we don't allow single-family attached homes in R2 currently, and the lot width as well. So, kind of a lot of things, but I think we could pack them in there. So, but we don't want to do that.
You would have to go ahead and rezone it to R1C, at least to go ahead and do the zero lot line on one side, but the minimum lot size,
How
you
old
would
is this
definitely.
development?
What's that?
How old is this development?
2002,
There you go.
I want to say.
Okay. I'm surprised you, how'd that fly? How'd that get by?
Well, I mean, these are currently duplexes. They're set up as one lot. It's our maps show that there is a lot line. If you look at that map right there, it shows that there is a lot line down the middle, but that's just how the county shows the lots for taxing purposes. There are currently 6 lots. So this lists lot
Okay.
1A and 1B, but that map is a little misleading. So,
All right, thank you.
And this isn't the first time they've talked about it, because my parents lived in there.
oh, okay.
I tried to get them to do this 5 years ago, and I couldn't get everybody on board at the
Sure.
same time.
And they have all the property. Something else I should mention is they have all the property owners on board. So everyone is gung-ho about this.
I just planted the seed. I guess.
Yep.
Any questions from commissioners?
So as of right now, it doesn't meet code, but you're
Correct.
saying, based on our discussion later this afternoon around R2, how we probably will expand the availability or like the limits of R2, then it would.
Correct.
Therefore, there's nothing else that we need to do.
Correct.
We wouldn't
Yeah,
do
just
anything, we're
recommend
good.
approval based on the code change.
Got it.
So you're saying this is contingent? If it passes,
Correct.
it would be
Yeah.
contingent?
Correct.
Just want to make sure.
Got it.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone in the audience want to speak to this? Yes, Kurt? Please state your name. Please state your name and address.
My name's Kurt Anderson. I don't have a dog in a fight here, but I do want to say that this comes up quite a bit, and this comes up because the city now allows single-family zero lot line.
Right.
So
Right.
I think this is a good move that the city gives these folks the ability to eliminate a condo association. All your banks want a fee simple owner. So the condo laws were something that was created in the 70s. It was the only operation that a developer had to do something like this. And now that the city has an R1C or a single-family detached zero-lot liability, you know, I know you have your minimums of 6,000, but I think when you probably look at that in the aggregate, there's 6,000 per lot on the aggregate. So I see some 62, some 61, some 59. So just to let you know that you're kind of be bringing these people in compliance with current codes or letting them have the ability.
Right.
So no dog in the fight, but I think it's great that you're looking at this.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Anyone else would like to speak to this? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I would move that we approve on the contingency that it will be corrected.
That you'll make a recommendation on item 7.
Right. Can I do that? Yes.
With the staff notes about the sewer
Right,
laterals?
with the staff
Correct.
notes.
Okay.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion made and seconded that we give tentative approval pending the code change possibly coming up later and make that recommendation to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next item, number 26-0204, sketch plan review, Parkway Estates, Fox Creek, PDR.
Yes, so this is the second step in the planned development process. We've been approached by KJU and Houston Homes out of St. Charles. Is that correct? O'Fallon, sorry. O'Fallon, to set up a planned development residential off the newly opened Foxcrest Drive down there by Stonecrest. So the applicant is requesting to rezone 7.1 acres, the area highlighted in red here, from R2 and R3 to planned development residential. They plan to create 78 lots, all with attached zero lot line townhomes. This design is consistent with what we recommend in our comprehensive plan. Residential suburban, which recommends a mix of detached and attached single-family homes. The reason why they are requesting to rezone to planned development is because of the street widths. This main street that you see here is 30 feet wide, which we do not currently allow in our subdivision regulations. And also they are proposing 12-foot alleys along the back of these rear-loaded townhomes here, which we require to be 20 feet in our code. So with the planned development, they could do this contingent on approval, of course. Let's see what else here. The development is proposing to have 6 shared off-street parking spaces off this west alley, 4 off-street parking spaces on this main road here. Their mailbox is, and correct me if I'm wrong later about any of this, is planned to be just north of the parking area. And yeah. Correct, yes, and we would require parking on one side. And I'll have the applicants come up, and they have a presentation to talk to you about, so.
Joe Cubb with KJU. Our development partners with Houston Homes, based in O'Fallon, Missouri. Houston Homes has very good experience in delivering high-quality residential communities throughout the St. Louis region, including Newtown and St. Charles. Over the course of planning for this project, we've listened to the community's feedback, focused on what residents feel is a need and what they would like to see in the future development. In response, we are proposing this development that consists of 78 attached independently owned homes designed specifically to support workforce housing, while maintaining neighborhood character and term values. In proposed layout, we emphasize strong interconnectivity, utilizing rear alleyways and reducing front load garages, improving streetscape aesthetics, and enhance the pedestrian safety in this design. This design promotes walkability and more traditional neighborhood feel. Given the site proximity to Phoenix Park and shopping, we believe this type of residential development is a natural fit in this area with the accessibility of the development. Throughout design, the combination of accessibility, housing, thoughtful design, and nearby recreational amenities, makes this project well suited and serve both the current residents and the future of our community. Houston Homes will go more into the presentation of what they're building, so on and so forth. With the alleyways being 12-foot, we're mimicking, I know Darren's made a comment to us in the past about making alleyways in developments, like what it is on High Street in Old Town, making that interconnection feel. We believe this gives a good point of this area. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
12 feet.
Please state your name and address.
Todd Meyer with Houston Homes in O'Fallon, Missouri. So just want to thank you all for having us here tonight. Maybe if we go back to the Houston Homes slide, Aaron. Just a little bit on Houston Homes. We're based, right here in the area, and we focus on building in St. Charles, Warren, and Lincoln counties at the moment. We're interested in building in Franklin County, obviously, or we wouldn't be here. But John Houston has a long history in the home building industry. Worked for Vantage and McBride and other builders before he launched the company about 15 years ago, and really prides himself on building the highest quality product that we can, and really providing a lot of things in the houses that other builders charge for that are just included. We've got a list of about 20 things that we provide that other builders charge for. So we really do feel like we're giving more people, giving people more value for their money. Going on, as you know, we've got this location just south of Phoenix Center and Phoenix Park that we're looking at here. It's about 7 acres. If you want to go forward, Foxcrest, of course, has been built. The sidewalks are in now, and we're looking at this 7 acres that's just south of Aspen Valley, the senior home, and the new fire station that's going there. And I think as we talk about the plan, just wanted to hit on a few of the urban planning goals that I think the city has outlined. One is smart growth, really accommodating, not only for new residents to come into town, but really this idea of expanding different housing options that. Not everybody wants to live in an apartment, and not everybody can afford, a larger single-family home. So this is a really good middle ground. And we are not apartment builders. We don't build condos or any of those things. We focus on townhomes and single-family detached homes. And so this is kind of what we believe. When cities like Washington want to provide more attainable housing, this is a way for us to get there, because we'd like to provide a price point that is more achievable for a wider range of folks, whether that be young folks who are just coming into the market, or even older folks who are downsizing and don't want to take care of a bigger house in the future. The other thing is, Joe touched on the transportation and connectivity options. So, we really wanted to look at this plan and leverage, what has been built with Foxcrest coming through the property, but we've limited the curb cuts to that to, one at the east end and one at the west end. And then we've got two different products that we're talking about here. One is what we call a front load product, where the garage is on the front of the house. That's what you're seeing on the perimeter of the plan in light blue. And then in the center of the plan, which Aaron alluded to, is this rear loaded product, which lives a little bit differently, right? So it has really nice curb appeal to it. And that's what those look like here. This is a picture of those. So you get front porches and you get front doors that face the street. The garage and the parking and all that stuff is back on the alley, where you get trash pickup and all of that. This picture shows you what that front loaded product looks like. So this is at the perimeter, and we're looking at anywhere from 4 to 6 units per building, that kind of thing. So I think, when we're talking about the plan here, one thing that we were trying to keep in mind is the city's goal and objective from an urban planning standpoint around connectivity and walkability, not just with a car, but really making sure that we're connecting all the sidewalks and the ability for folks to get from a community like this or a neighborhood like this to the park, or even up to the Phoenix Shopping Center. And so, we feel that's a good quality of life goal, but it also helps to support some of your economic development goals. The more people you have shopping there, the better those stores do, and that, of course, that relates to your tax revenues. So for us, what we're trying to do here is, as Joe alluded to, have an efficient layout that makes sense. The 30-foot wide street, we do a lot of developments that have 26-foot wide streets. We're going to the 30-foot wide street here because, as Aaron was talking about earlier with the parking, we would anticipate on-street parking, but sign that and limit it to kind of the inside of the loop. So obviously you wouldn't have parking on the outside of the loop because you got driveways there. But the nice thing about this plan is that we've got we've got ample amount of off-street parking. So you've got 2 spaces that are in most of these units in a garage, and then you have 2 exterior spaces that are also either off-street or off-alley. And then Aaron mentioned a few of the off-street guest parking spaces as well. So the on-street parking would be primarily oriented at deliveries, Amazon, mail, and then guest parking. The alleys we touched on, we know for the standard zoning in Washington, Aaron mentioned the 20-foot wide alley. In looking at the alleys in downtown Washington, they're all 12 feet wide, and we would recommend here that we sign and regulate these to be one-way. So that helps, in terms of just the traffic interaction along Foxcrest. And it provides ample room for trash and fire truck access. Now, we don't anticipate that if there is a fire event that the fire truck would even need to go down the alley, because the fire truck could position anywhere along Foxcrest or our internal street and reach with a 150-foot hose to any part of these buildings. The other thing that we're looking at is, we know the code talks about 600-foot dimension for point-to-point on fire hydrants. We would look at putting fire hydrants, on either side of the center of this development so that you can stretch a hose to wherever you'd need that as well. It's beneficial, of course, we're right across the street from your brand-new fire station. So that doesn't hurt either.
You just have to put out a hose.
So I'll pause there and just any questions for me?
Question I've got, I mean, so if you're gonna use the 12-foot alleyways, what's the construction of the alleyway? Concrete, chip and seal, asphalt, what?
Let Mr. Understall take that one.
Good question, Chuck. When he was proposing that, I was going to build them 7 inches thick because they will be the main feed for the trash. These people, the nice thing is, you know, some of you have been involved and some of you haven't. Darren has been involved. Foxcrest has been an interconnector that the city, long-range planning wanted. So the whole premise is to build something here that doesn't impact the flow of traffic through Rabbit Trail Drive to Northcrest Drive. So the concept of the back feed alley, one way, put the trash back there, the trash trucks go in. But to your point, good point, Chuck, they were talking asphalt. I said, no, we're putting them in 7 inches thick, which is thicker than the code requires. So instead of giving you 20 feet thin, we're gonna give you 12, but built
Yeah, the
stout.
reason I ask is just knowing HOAs and the one HOA that we had recently, it's like, you know, everybody's complaining about they don't have enough money for repairs on their chip and seal streets and all that kind of stuff, and they're wanting the city to take over it and stuff, and they just, knowing how HOAs over a
Nope.
period of time, they just wanna make sure
Good
they're.
question. No, we plan on doing that in 7-inch thick reinforced
Okay.
concrete. Or,
Yeah,
Kurt, is your intentions, are the developer's intentions to go ahead and turn all of that over to the city for maintenance?
I think we talked in site plan, the 30-foot street. I don't know if we touched with Aaron.
Our current recommendation is to, if the alleys stay 12 feet, to have the HOA take them over.
So
HOA takes over the alleyways?
Yeah,
What about the main street going through?
that would be city.
the city would be.
That would be
maintaining
the city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking.
it. And again, to kind of touch on what Joe and Todd said is that we feel that this is a good fit, and we look at, okay, who's going to buy these products? You know, the young couple who has no children or one child, this would be a great starter home for them. It's also the empty nester who has the big yard and maybe the spouse is widowed and doesn't need a big yard, but wants a yard for their pet and for their grandchildren when they come over. I've had probably 24 people ask me in the last 5 to 6 years, Kurt, build us a townhome that gives me a yard. You know, what's built downtown in Washington's excellent product. The one complaint I hear is, you know, we'd like some green space. So we feel that this builder, Houston, we vetted him. He's done, if you ever get a chance to get over to Newtown in downtown St. Charles area, you know, they really literally built a town down in there, and these guys done an excellent job with their product line. So we feel this is something that, in a way, it's kind of getting back to the old roots of Washington. You know, I grew up on a 6,000 square foot lot on High Street, and, you know, my dad took his tank truck and parked in the back of the garage, and Ambrose Vombert, who was a police judge, he lived next door to us. So, you know, and today the town still has alleys in this town. So we feel that this will be a good way to meet all the needs, because if we would design it to where everything's curb cutting, that really goes against what the city and
Yeah, we do not
Darren
want
wants.
that.
We don't want that congestion on Foxcrest. We don't want, you know, John.
Certainly don't want
fast-
driveways.
Fast forward, you get a fire call, and, you know, God forbid, some little old lady doesn't hear very well, and she backs out right in front of a fire truck taking off. So we feel this meets that concern. So anyway, that's all I have.
Are those units in the center, Kurt, are they just like, is their front yards open up to that greenway there?
Correct. And he has got sidewalks designed, so they'll
Okay.
basically walk out and walk down the sidewalk.
Okay.
So there are sidewalks
Yeah.
on this, there are sidewalks?
Yeah,
Okay.
Carolyn, that's a little loop there, that's all sidewalks in front of those buildings. And then
Good.
Foxcrest has a sidewalk currently, and then
They're proposing it on the outer, there
proposing
you
one
go.
on the 30-foot street all the way around. So basically, walkability, this'll
That's good.
probably be the most walkable development in Washington, I would think. Square foot of sidewalk to,
The units that face into that little park area, Mr. Ernerstall, Do we have an addressing issue with that, how would those be addressed? You know, what would,
Probably just off the road, this new road that they're building.
Yeah, I would say that they would have.
I don't think that would be an issue.
You know, Fox Crest.
Well, it can be, trust me. I've worked with that in St. Louis County, okay, because that's one of my notes. But
Sure.
Yeah, we would work with the city and fire and the post office to make sure they're addressed properly.
Because you would have to split it. You would have to split the 4 units that are north, come off of Fox Crest and be addressed that way, and you'd have to split it and take the other 5 units that are to the south in that center section and address them off of the loop road. Otherwise, you don't know, because that's your access to get to that. If you don't do that, you're not going to know where to go in there.
Can you guys talk about price point?
Yeah, that was.
That's good.
Yeah, we haven't finalized pricing yet, because we're obviously going through the planning process, and we're also working with local contractors and trades to get bids on pricing. So we don't know where we're ending up yet, but we know that we want to be less expensive than comparable single-family detached homes. So we're trying to provide a more attainable product here, and some of that, the reason that we've got the 2 different products here is to have a little bit more segmentation there, right? With the units that are on the perimeter, obviously you've got a built-in garage. You don't have a choice. We're looking at some of the units in the center, may or may not, depending on where those price points come in, because we want to provide some choice for folks. That some folks, a garage is more important, and for other folks, a lower price is important. So we're still investigating that right now. Yeah.
General range, perhaps?
General range, I think we'd be comfortable saying that if bids came in where we hope that they do, that we would be in the, say 275 to, 310, 315 range for these kind of units, yeah.
Since you're at the microphone, I have a couple questions too.
Sure.
The garage sizes on that center infill area, you have the freestanding garages. What size are those?
Right now, they're shown at 20 by 20. So, they generally, we provide an option to make them deeper if you want. You can do a garage extension, which we offer, and many builders do that. They'll offer a garage extension of, 2 feet or 4 feet or 6 feet, that kind of thing. So they can be larger. That just eats into your yard,
That's what I was wondering where you took that.
Yeah, and the way that this is laid out now, we do have those driveways on the interior lots, the yellow units that you're looking at on the plan. Those have a driveway in front of the garage. So what we found is that a lot of people, some people park cars in garages, and other people like to put stuff in garages. So it can provide extra storage there, and if you want the flexibility of parking outside, you can do that.
So what is that distance from the alleyway to the garage face?
Alleyway to the garage face is 20, and then it's another 20-foot depth right now is what we're showing.
So
right.
if they wanted a larger garage, it would go into their yard space, and that 20 feet would
Right.
be standard across the front.
That's right, and that I think we're still kind of playing with some options there. So if you look at the left side of the plan, there's those 4 buildings that have 3 units each on them. So what we're showing there is those are currently shown as just parking pads, right? So those would, obviously be a more affordable product than, if we're building a gang of garages. So that's one option. The other option is that, we could not build a garage, just have a parking pad, and then you have a deeper yard, right? So you have a more yard space. So there's some options there, and we just, we'd like to test the market a bit, to see, where that falls, so.
So those garage aprons, where those attached garages would be in that center section, that would just be like one big, large concrete pour? It's like there wouldn't be any division at the lot lines, would that be?
There would be a division because, Kurt and company would pour the alleys, and then we would come in later and pour the driveways. So there would be a seam there, but yeah, it would.
No barrier, fence, or anything like that?
No, it would be open, yeah.
It would be open?
Uh-huh,
Okay.
yeah. So no, I mean, in general, kind of the less fences, the better. Now, obviously, if you buy one of these units and you want to fence it in for a dog, or you've got young kids, people do elect to do that, so. One thing we didn't mention about the site is that, if you zoom back out, Aaron, if you look at the left side of the plan, that's quite a bit higher than the right side of the plan here. And that's, it falls, from Stonecrest kind of down toward Rabbit Run. And so, what we have is a nice kind of layered effect of these buildings. So it's not just a flat site, which can be deceiving, when you look at a plan like this. But, we do have quite a bit of grade change, which we think is actually, more interesting. And it allows you to kind of layer these views over. And if you look at these lots that are kind of just opposite the fire station there, on the kind of the right side of the plan here, those would look kind of right over the top of those units, right? You get I don't know, Kurt, 45 feet of grade change, I think we said.
45 feet from Fox Crest, up top there, I'm sorry, North Crest, down to the lower interior road. So the people that would be living on the upper side of North Crest will be overlooking this development and tuck in, if you will, in that hillside there, where that bare dirt is. We think it fits in there good. There's a pretty good, you can kind of see it if you look to the back there, how that last cul-de-sac and Windcrest drops off. There's probably, every bit of 40 feet of grade change between the top corner of Northcrest and Windcrest down to what I call building in the flat, if you will.
That picture's deceiving. I mean, I was just out
Kurt,
there
would you
today.
come up
and
to the
that's-
microphone too, so we can get this?
What Aaron's showing is kind of deceiving. I was just out there today. I mean, like you say, there is, that last cul-de-sac out there there is quite a bit of grade
Right,
down.
it
into
drops off quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there's currently a residential home being built on Northcrest.
There's,
And there's two others, and probably be pulling building permits here in the next
there's
60
two of them.
days.
Yep.
There's two of them under construction up there now.
Yeah, this is map doesn't have those homes on Northcrest there.
Right. Yeah, there's actually one on the other side, right? But on that side, there's one. But that land there where he's burning his little mouse, that land sits up probably every bit of, on the low end, 30 feet and 40 feet on the upper side of the house. So, in fact, I just sold a lot to a gentleman, grew up here in Washington, lived out of town, came back, and his question was, well, what's going to be in my backyard? And I showed him this plan, and he said, yeah, I'm good with that. He just didn't want 6-story apartment buildings in his backyard. And I said, no, this is all going to be single family, basically what you call
Townhomes.
owner-occupied.
Owner-occupied townhomes.
Housing. So,
I have another question for Mr. Meyer, if he could come back up to the mic, please. And Kurt, you can stay up there too, because you'll probably have some.
Reinforcement.
I don't want to be too close to this guy, so. Caught a bug, so.
So since you've built several of these, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes.
What has been your experience with trash cans when it's trash day? And people bring their trash cans out on a 12-foot alley?
Yeah, it's very manageable because typically the trash cans are in the driveway; they're not in the alley. So on the perimeter townhomes, the light blue ones, those a lot of people will either store the trash can in their garage or on the side of their garage. If you're an interior unit, typically you're storing that those cans in your garage, and then you take them to the curb, on trash and recycling day. But typically what we see is that people are not dragging those out into the street or the alley. They tend to stay in the driveways. And with, I'm not sure about the city's equipment, but with the new trucks that have the, the arms that grab it and dump, they're very accessible that way, is what we found. So, and Kurt mentioned some of the stuff we're doing in Newtown. We have quite a bit of product in Newtown that does not have a street in front of it, right? There's only an alley, and those are addressed on the alley. You mentioned the addresses, so we're building on an alley right now called Arpent Way, and your address is just 1234 Arpent Way, right? And the front of your yard is a lake or a detention pond, and the rear of your house, which these are rear loaded units off of the alley, and your address is just the alley. So that's another way to do it, but we have done it the way that you mentioned, John, which is some of them are addressed off of Foxcrest and some are addressed off of our interior loop. We're indifferent of how the city prefers to do that.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with Forum Apartments down off of Olive Boulevard and out in Chesterfield, but that is a nightmare to try to find addresses. And they have a lot of these inside apartments or inside townhomes. And it's just a mess to try to do that because they went with that same concept when they were built 40 years ago.
Right.
It just doesn't. It's fine in a fire. You can see a fire most of the time. In an EMS call, you can't. So that's where the delay comes into play. And that's why addressing in this is going to be a very important thing. And I would be more in tune if we're going to address off the alleys, then we go to a 20-foot alley, just to have the space to work. When you get a 8-inch snow like we had come through this week, and you come through and plow, and the trash picks up next week, where are they going to set their trash cans? They're going to be out in front of that plow. And now you've got trash cans in the alley, which trash...
Well, I think what we've had to experience with in the last couple of years, and obviously we've gone to contracted waste hauling for some time now, is that, we do have to go ahead and blade alleys, especially in those older parts of town, in order for people to go ahead and get their trash picked up. My only concern, I would say, for this is if the HOA is responsible for the alleys, is people's trash aren't going to get picked up if those aren't bladed. And then we're going to get the complaints regarding why did my trash get picked up? So that would be just a thing we could talk through and try to figure out.
And I think, just for the rest of the commission, I think a 20-foot alley would give better access to the whole back of those garages on both of those sides, just because to get fire apparatus in there, to get ambulances in there, whatever you had to get in there and work, that just gives you more room to do that.
I have to say, that was one of my major concerns, because going from 20 to 12 seemed, that's more of a driveway than I'm a very big fan of alleys as access for a lot of stuff you don't have on the street, which I think is terrific. But you do worry, because we went through this not too long ago, and I think Chuck mentioned this about Hussey Acres, where 40 years ago, a developer asked for, this, and they gave the HOA was to take care of it. Well, unfortunately, people move in, and they have every right to have an assumption that I'm a citizen, I live in Washington, where's my snow removal? Where is my trash collection? And we want to be able to access then to be able to do that, because HOAs get a bad rap a lot of times, but they can be a nightmare. And if they don't pick this up and have it available and take care of it, as you say, if they don't blade it, nothing's going to be done, because they're not going to...
Either that, or they're going to be hauling the trash all the way up to Foxcrest or
Exactly.
something.
So I think when you're planning in this way, you're like shooting yourself in the foot down the road, maybe. Now, you might not, but at the same time, this is a concern. As I said, I'm a fan of alleys, but I'm also a fan of an alley that I want the fire truck or the ambulance, particularly the ambulance, to be able to get to me if I had that back access.
Being this is a two-step process, John, you kind of touched on it, and now that I see where you were going, you really got that, and you got more than that, because the driveway is 20 feet, you got a 12-foot alley, and you got a 20-foot driveway. So it's a semantics thing. In reality, what we need to do next month, we'll come back and we'll show you a cross-section. You're really gonna be able to drive on 52 feet of concrete,
All the way through?
pretty much. So,
I
I
don't
mean,
see
there's
that
one
happening.
little sliver there in that 1 yard, if we need to bump it out 8 feet, but I think we can meet the code.
But that would also assume no cars parked behind the garage.
Correct.
I mean, if I park behind my garage,
They can park in the garage, yeah.
Or behind the garage, then you lose that. Somebody's
Or
got
what
to-
you could do is just move those garages closer to the
That's-
house
that
and not
was
have as
my-
much green area.
Right.
That's, I mean,
But
that's.
I think we're getting caught up in the details here. Well, this is just sketch plan review. But again, to Carolyn's point, all the alleys in this town are 12 foot. We're just mirroring what the town has currently. That 20 feet was for R1A, brand new. If I was in Kansas and I had all kinds of land cheap, I'd be putting 20-foot alleys in. But I think the fact that we're pouring 20 foot of concrete driveway next to a 12-foot alley, in reality, you got 52 feet to come through there, so.
Well, I would go on record to say that I would prefer to have them 20 feet.
Yep.
Just for better access, better workability, city services being
Well,
provided there.
we'll be back in front of the city on sketch plan review, and we're just, this is just a
Sketch
quick
plan.
I understand.
layout of what we propose, and,
I just want you to know what our thoughts are too.
yeah. Well, and again, what we don't wanna do is build a lot of street that doesn't get used, because the other side of the coin that Darren will mention, every foot of concrete you create, you've got a runoff problem. And then you've got MS4 and you've got DNR, so we're trying to balance a very environmentally friendly walkability product here, so.
And that was one of my questions was, where is the stormwater retention for this?
Stormwater detention, Stonecrest Lake was built to encompass the entire farm.
Okay.
This product is not gonna be a part of Stonecrest, it'll have its own HOA, but the stormwater is for the whole piece of land.
Okay, then I have another question for Mr. Meyer. Have you ever used residential sprinklers in any of your projects?
Typically, we do not. Generally, it's, if we're going, 7 units or above, and we typically do not do that. We typically limit it to, like, 6 units per building is really our max of what we try to do. I did want to go back, if I could, to the HOA for just a moment. And that is that, one, we as the builder manage the HOA, while we're under construction until, the neighborhood is built out. And the thing that we have started doing is to build the HOA fee into, the purchase of the home. And so what that does is that, your concern, Carolyn, over, HOAs sometimes get a bad rap or they don't do what they're supposed to do. That guarantees that the HOA is funded to be able to do what it needs to do. And then we set up the snow clearing and snow plow as a part of
Really?
of that, right? So we do that to make sure that it's happening, and not just on the the alleys, but the sidewalks and whatnot too, right? Because this is how people are getting to their units in a lot of ways. So that's just something that we typically would do to make sure that we have access. So, and then Aaron, I don't know if you want to go forward. There's a slide in here that shows a preliminary plat at the end here. So this just shows how something like this, how we would normally plat it. So you see there's solid lines and then there's dashed lines. So the solid lines represent sort of a lot, if you will, and then there's kind of like, the subdivided lots between that. And the reason for that is that's the dashed lines on the plan show where you're having a shared wall. So that gives you the flexibility on the addressing, that if you wanted to do address 1234-ABCD, you could do it that way. Or you could do it, with say a 4-unit building, you could have an address that's 1234, 1235, 1236, whatever. We have flexibility there, but that's kind of how that's laid out. How we typically do it. Now we'll defer to however, the city prefers that, so.
Okay, well, the reason I brought up the sprinklers is on that southern side where you have the 5 units
Yes,
mirroring that center green space, and I'm just telling you how the fire department would operate.
sure.
Is the pumper would stop where you had those parking spaces,
Mm-hmm.
and then the hose lines would have to reach, say for instance, that far northern one there was burning. You're probably talking 150 feet.
It's about 200 feet. What you're looking at here from the bottom of the 5-unit building to the top of the 4-unit building, that's about 200 feet. So you'd be about 100 foot to the center. And then I think what we've talked about is hydrants that would be at the sort of top and bottom of that green space.
My point is, our hose lines are 200 foot long.
Mm-hmm.
They're 2-story houses. So by the time you get the hose off the truck, drag it down the center green space, get to the front door, get in the house, go down, are these on basements or are they on grade?
No, these would have basements.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you go down for basements, up for the second floor. That doesn't allow for much getting around shrubbery and everything else that you have there. That's why I ask about the sprinklers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would feel much more comfortable about it if we could maybe look at sprinklering that front middle section where you don't have street frontage access. That way you would count on the sprinklers to put the fires out, basically, because that's what they do. And you wouldn't have to do it for the whole rest of the complex because you have actual street frontage available there.
And like Kurt said, I think we can come back, next time and kind of look at that issue in a little bit more detail. We, obviously, when you start talking about sprinkling buildings, now our price of the units goes up and.
Yeah, but you can do it fairly reasonable under the plumbing code. We've already looked into that.
Yeah, so, we just have to look at all that, but, just the, as we talked about, kind of where access might be coming from, and, we can take the hose length into consideration there, of course, so,
Giving you some information.
yeah, thank you, yeah.
A couple easy questions, I hope. Aaron, the property directly south of this, is that part of Stonecrest or?
No, the property directly south of this is Stonebridge, phase 4, I believe. So, yeah, this is all, I'm sorry.
There's a tree line back there that separates them from the Vic's.
Yep.
Back in there.
I got my bearings. I guess my only comment on the alley, well, first of all, I appreciate the alley layout. I appreciate the more urban nature of the townhomes without having garages glued on the front of every townhouse. Having a street that's not just driveway, 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 driveway. I really appreciate that. I have one of those old alleys behind my house that we have in Washington. I have a garage off the back of that alley. I only have a 10-foot apron off of my garage.
So you can't really park in it unless you're parallel parked.
Yeah, you have to parallel park behind my garage if you're gonna do it at all.
Yeah.
It's never been an issue. Trash has never been an issue. I've lived there a little over 10 years, with the exception of last year's ice storm, which I think is understandable to most people. Trash pickup was never a problem with the city plows it. That's a city alley. The one time we had an issue, though, we had an ambulance in the alley, and the police got there before the ambulance did. And we had to play shuffle cars to try to get the ambulance to where the ambulance needed to be, because everybody pulled in the alley. All the emergency vehicles come into the alley, and the ambulance was the last guy to get there, but was the guy that needed to be there the most, right? And that was the only time in 10 years that I really saw the width of the alley be an issue, okay? I do have a little bit of a concern just particularly with the adjoining properties, the south and the east loop edges. I just have a little bit of a concern with the density of that up against the single-family houses that are, I think those properties around there are mostly single-family. you know, if those people are aware of that, I know Mr. Understall made the comment that he's spoken with some of those folks. You know, that's for them, and they'll have an opportunity to come before us. I think other than the addressing, I think that's really probably my only thing. It would have been a little easier if you do this again. It would have been a little easier to have some dimensions on some of the drawings just for some of
Sure.
the widths and things. It was a little hard just trying to figure out scale of things a little bit.
Sure, sure.
But you guys you've talked through that pretty well tonight, I think. So.
Yeah, and I would say, so on the alley thing, you know, so again, I mean, these are short runs, right? They're like 200 feet. So like if you had a police car come in one side and then you had an ambulance come in the other side, I mean, you know, we've got communities with much longer alleys that, you know, we deal with now. You know, sometimes there's, you know, some sort of easement running down them, and, you know, there's things to work around. Here, you know, we've got that flexibility of, you know, coming in from either direction during an emergency situation, even though we'd like to, you know, regulate it to be one way.
Would your utilities be distributed through the alleys?
Well, we haven't laid out any of the utilities yet, but typically we would put wet utilities in the street, so water and sewer, and then the dry utilities, meaning, you know, data, telecom, in the alley. So, and then on the kind of proximity to the single-family homes, these are all two-story products, and the garages on the yellow units, the rear-loaded would be one-story, right? So, from a massing standpoint, we don't feel like it's, you know, sort of, you know, inappropriate for the area. And as Kurt said, you know, this is not a 6-story, you know, apartment building kind of thing, which would be a very different kind of, land use and density, I guess, in some ways. So.
Yeah, and I do think the location of it in proximity to the commercial development there.
Phoenix Park.
Yeah, Phoenix Park and Phoenix Center. You know, the density of it in relation to that, it doesn't really bother me as much. My concern's really just more for the neighbors that have maybe already built around it, and like I say, they'll have an opportunity to come before the commission.
Yeah, something else of note is that this property is, well, most of this property is currently zoned R3, which is our most dense residential. So, you know, they could apply for a subdivision plat, you know, combine all those lots there and build apartments today without, you know, these two hearings. So just want to put that out there.
Well, just to give him a little context and stuff, when Kurt first filed this plan a long while back as what his use was going to be for the different areas and stuff, it's typically we have the single-family residential, and as we're getting towards the commercial things like that, we start putting these types of things in to buffer their site from what the shopping center and everything else is like that. And that's what was always planned, and that's why it's zoned as it is accordingly and stuff too. So.
What's the natural vegetation like? Can you go back to the plat that backs up to Stonebridge?
There's an aerial photo kind of right before this plan that shows a little bit of that. Or, yeah, the next one.
There's a tree line buffer between.
Two down.
Is it all
Right
on your
there.
is it all on your property, Kurt?
Yeah.
I think he has some trees too, he didn't take them out either.
No,
Pretty good little tree line between the two.
they're all trees that are
Family houses
40.
after this zone.
So it's a natural buffer, is what you're saying, between there.
National buffer built in, Ken, but those folks knew that they were buying into R3 ground, like I said. This is really, when Houston came along, I really felt this was a compromise to.
Come on up to the mic.
concerns
Yeah.
that
I know you're sick, but you'll make it.
you know, the density. I know, Chuck, when we rezoned it, it's textbook rezoning in that you've got commercial, you got R1, and in between you have this land that you have to develop. So this is fee simple, owner occupied housing, and actually from a square foot standpoint, Todd, help me out here. You're 1,500, 1,300, so I think Vic's building 1,200, so some of these homes will actually be bigger because they're up and down. They're townhome, they're townhome concept.
Got
So,
2,400 and
so,
1,400.
Yeah, so anyway, that's, very compatible, I should say, from a residential. It's just some people are gonna have a bigger yard and some people are gonna have a smaller yard. But I think this meets the needs of the community. It's a good-looking product. I think, with Phoenix Park being there, I'm shocked when we were doing Foxcrest, how many people use Phoenix, Park, the trail. It gets used quite a bit. And then now that pickleball's the rave, I mean, they really use the tennis courts down there, so we feel that, this meets a product for the young family all the way to the empty nester, the downsizer, so.
Any other commissioners have any questions for the developer?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment, please. Yeah, Kurt and Todd and Joe, you know, everything considered tonight, I think you guys have a great design. I really like the elevations. I really like the consideration of an alleyway, sidewalks. I mean, it looks like you guys looked at a lot of different things that are really going to make this place nice. But what I really like is the connectivity. I think that's a great idea, so thank you.
Yeah, no, we're, like I said, this got a lot of sidewalks in it, but it's the ability that somebody wants to take their little poodle and walk out the front door and hit the park trail. They got the ability to do it.
Yeah.
Without getting their shoes muddy.
Any other commissioner questions or comments? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this?
Good evening, Commission. How are you? Thank you for letting me speak.
State your name and-
Tim Frankenberg, Fire Chief, Washington, Missouri. First, kudos to KJU in Houston. I always love connectivity, and so the way that Kurt does this without using cul-de-sacs, I truly applaud you. Thank you, Kurt. And I truly mean that. Know this area very well because I've been living in that corner there a lot with the new fire station being built. That's up there on the corner. A couple concerns. One, just on the plat review, to echo what Ken said, is some dimensions would be nice. I have some concerns with turning radiuses and some of that, and just looking at it from a big picture perspective. In addition, I would offer the builder and the developer, we have offered concessions in the past through the code on planned unit developments. The most recent was one not too far from here, where we had them sprinkle the entire complex with residential fire sprinklers following NFPA 13D under the plumbing code, which basically gets all of the, Washington has a very, I don't want to say complex, but a very thorough commercial sprinkler requirement, and we do that very purposefully for the way we operate. When we get into the residential side, we really lighten things up to make it realistic. Those are not property protection systems. They are there for life safety. And in some of this, we had a fire last night with a report of a person trapped over here on 3rd Street. With the way fire growth is today, no offense to Houston, but just the way homes are constructed today, the materials, the trade-offs, et cetera. The code today is built on the assumption of sprinklers are in homes. The 2009 codes changed, and from there on, the codes are all based on the fire protection is in these buildings. So all the trade-offs that are built in on the separation walls, et cetera. We have worked with developers in the past, and we would be more than willing to work with Houston and KJU to do what we can to encourage the installation of residential fire sprinklers for the long term of these properties and the life safety of the folks that live in those properties. But again, kudos to the design. I think it's an excellent way to do it. Kurt lived up to exactly what he said when we were in front of a whole lot of anxious Stonecrest residents with the way the street was put in, with the way the access is done. So Kurt has lived up with what he said he's going to do. So kudos to them. I can echo the walkability of that area. We're actually adding a sidewalk to the east of Aspen Valley, the west of our property, to the park. I cannot believe the amount of people that utilize Phoenix Park Drive presently. It's insane. I've seen folks that I know from Lake Washington walking past there and asked them, "Are you lost?" But it's just part of their walk of what they use for the connectivity of the system. So what you're doing is working. I think this is a great concept. I would echo some of the comments that were made up here and the concerns, but I definitely think there's ways we can work through all of this. And again, I'm willing to work from the fire code's perspective as to what we can do to encourage them as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to this? So we really don't approve or
No, this is just kind of to, discussion and then accept it into the minutes. Just one quick thing. My only recommendation as staff would be these 4 parking spaces right here to move them to the south side so the sidewalk can be straight here, and you can. Was I right about the mailboxes? Are you planning to have them right there?
That's the main purpose of it, is that they pull in, get their mail, and then they go home, and we cannot put them on the south side because those are driveways.
Sure, yeah, I guess my recommendation, and if this is not possible, that's okay, this is kind of a minor thing, would be to reorient these front-loaded townhomes, push them up to the side and kind of utilize some of the space right here. If that's obviously not possible, that's okay. But, move these parking spaces to the south of the road, so that way when the mail guy is delivering mail, he's not blocked by parked cars, presumably. And so pedestrians don't have to do this awkward jut up to the north, but that would be my only comment, so.
any other comments? Okay. You have what our thoughts were, so
Okay.
we'll do the next step.
Yep. Very
Okay.
good.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And thank you, developer and Kurt, for putting this together. Next item on the agenda is the code change for R2C, code change recommendation.
Yes, correct. So this is something we've been talking about for a while, but, did you have something, Mark?
No. He's,
Oh,
go ahead.
okay. Yeah, this is something we've been talking about for a while, but I finally got something in front of you and hope to get a recommendation to council to look at this and get this approved so we don't have to deal with, a rezoning and a variance every time that someone wants to get rid of a condo association. So just going through some of the changes to the R2 zoning district to make that a reality. We've removed the side yard setbacks and shrank the lot sizes for single-family and two-family dwellings. So you can do a single-family home on a 3,000 square foot lot and a duplex on a 6,000 square foot lot. With that, we've also reduced the minimum width of a lot to 30 feet. And in the use table, we've made attached single-family homes a permitted use in the R2 district. When the last time we talked about this, I talked this over with Blake, who's here tonight, about fire protection and if there's any difference in the number of units. And there is not. The fire protection does have to be consistent amongst, so it has to be the same throughout the number of attached townhomes, whether that be 2 townhomes or 20 townhomes. The fire separation has to be the same there. And yeah, I guess that's it. If you have any questions or any comments on this, I'm more than happy to talk about them. So.
So Aaron, there's still an R2 overlay district?
Correct. Yeah, this is not removing the R2 overlay district. It's just, but previously we had different single family or lot sizes, right. Minimum lot sizes for the R2 overlay and the rest of the R2 district. I'm proposing removing that separate, lot size for the R2 overlay and just having one R2
So 3,000
size, lot
for a
size.
single-family unit and
Correct.
6,000 for 2.
Correct. Yeah.
That would take care of most of the cumbersome stuff.
I was gonna say,
I
it
would say
seems very
most-
practical, very efficient way of just us not having to worry about too many more variances
Right.
unnecessarily.
Well, the concern in the past, I think, and the reason was just, way back when we created the district to allow for a side yard, or a zero side yard on one side, for them to go ahead and go through and dissolve the condo, was just worried about the minimum lot size. They were worried that people would come in with R2 zoning and come in now and take advantage of, a lot smaller than that. And that was the concern. I don't know that we have that concern as much anymore.
Because if someone were to come in and annex farmland and want to do, like, I calculated this out, if someone were to come in and, annex farmland, request R2 zoning, with our current maximum block length of 1,000 feet, you could do 33 attached townhomes in a row next to each other. But that is a theoretical maximum that would probably not happen, and nowhere in town could you do that with these changes that I'm proposing. So there was also,
I think it cleans the process up.
I don't hate it. I like it.
Yeah, just for the record, the city doesn't get involved with dissolving condo associations. This is just the tool for them to help them go ahead and do that, because that's completely up to, that's not the city's part in doing that. Ours is just, do we have a zoning district that fits the need of what some of these are, and not making them jump through several hurdles and 2 different boards.
Well, I think if we would have had this in place when Apple Blossom was being proposed.
Right.
That would not have been built the way it's built currently.
Right.
The way I see it.
Yeah.
So we need a recommendation, is that what you're
Yep,
asking?
recommendation to send it to council.
I would entertain,
Motion to recommend to send to council.
Second.
motion made and seconded that the commission recommend changes to the R2, R1C code. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Anything else that came up that we need to talk about?
Don't think so.
Good. Then I
I
would.
got a question for
Yep.
Aaron. So, out there, West Main and Westlink Industrial Drive, that RV park
Yeah.
is going forward? So they're going with the concrete?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever we.
That was I think that was it, right?
Back
We
that
did
you
not
don't want.
approve the chip and seal and everything else
Right.
that
I
they
don't
wanted,
think so.
but
No.
I had never really heard, and I was just out past that way, and it's like, oh, they're excavating, so.
When they came back, I think, to discuss something less than what they had first proposed, it just kind of died, I think, right here at P and Z. I don't even know that
Yeah.
council ever even had to.
Well, that was just it. It was like, it just seemed like the whole thing kind of died.
Gina's in the know. She said concrete's being poured tomorrow, so there you go.
Wow.
Well, I would just, like I said, I was just out past there, and it's like, here, they've got everything all laid out and stuff, and it's like, I was just curious, because we really hadn't heard anything as a follow-up past that one and stuff, so I
I
was
think
just,
council had given 2 or 3 extensions, and I think, so.
okay.
Because it was a good plan, if they could get it done.
Yeah. It just
I mean, I'm-
sounded like they weren't going to, because the concrete was gonna be too
Expensive.
expensive.
That was a deal killer.
Yeah, so, but good for them, so.
Agreed.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain one last motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn at 8:20. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, folks.
Good work.
Good.
Our next breakfast?
You're gonna be my
What day?
housemate when I move. I'm not there yet.
When you moving?
Well, I don't know. The trusses were delivered yesterday or
March
today.
5th.
What is this, Monday? Anyway, they started on the roof.
Franklin's.
Where are you moving
And it's
to?
on a slab. Hanover Place, Hanover Way,
yeah. I
with the seniors were the
Thursday
last
morning.
lot.
First Thursday is
And
when
they
I
have
have
basements and big kitchens, and we're on a slab, one car
So we gotta move to a different Thursday.
been able to.
What about the second?
I can do that. Yeah.
We're really close.
Yes,
And I
that
said,
works.
"Okay,
Let me talk to you.
I've lived in Ward
I'll
430
send
years.
you that. Cool. I got you. I understand.
And I said, Chad,
I didn't know you had some Thursday mornings, that's why we switched to
we
Thursday.
were at a meeting, and I said, I should go up and Kathy,
You're gonna figure out where,
I'm
and
gonna-
it varies in location.
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't count last night.
trust me, there's nothing to fear. But it is scary when you have somebody that had been on
you.
that. Sometimes they can happen. And I'm not that person. But at the same time, I'm really excited. And it's really gonna be great. So if you're in the neighborhood, drive by sometime.
Well, that's kind of like what the proposal.
Right.
It's a good choice.
That's why I ask, because I know sometimes.
A 2,000 or more square foot house in a big yard, and so.
Yeah, I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just that.
Good night.
I just, that 12-foot alley, I kept thinking, and I know those people were so upset about the acres.
Right.
There, what do you mean? You know, and if we can avoid that, and if they're gonna step up, the key is, is he gonna stay concerned with the HOA and be on their case? Because we have an HOA in Windy Hills, and that's the biggest joke in the world. They only ask for money when they run out of it to cut the grass in the entryway, or a tree falls down,
Right.
and it's frustrating. Well,
So I mean,
anyway,
I get what they're.
I'm so happy. That way I can vote for you
Welcome,
next time.
welcome soon to the world.
Well, I'm hoping late spring.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I want you to know that right now we're living in Ward 1, actually, on Wishwood. I've got a friend whose mother has a house.
They were just
She's-
watching,
she's a
but they
memory
had
care.
approached me
First thing I did is,
previously
John,
about
got to go change your voter registration, because I've got to vote for this taxes. Because I don't think we'll be in before, and I want to ensure that those get my two votes.
Okay, I don't have to do it that often, you know? That's your pen, though. You want this?
Granddaughter plays basketball for the Jays.
Got one in place for Georgia.
CJ's daughter.
CJ's daughter plays in Georgia.
I thought you played Washington.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Quinn.
Good.
Yeah, we had a game this afternoon at 4:30 that was